goodness. Big move Monday. Look out. A way to end the tournament.
What's happening, people? Welcome back to the Quad Pod, sponsored by Poseidon Strength and Adidas Wrestling. Make sure you guys are using those discount codes at checkout. All the information is below. As always, it's awesome to be joined by Robbie, Austin, and Kevin. I am Holmes for episode 62. This is the episode that I'm dedicating to everybody's favorite center who wore number 62. That's right, Todd McClure, who played for the Falcons. I'm kidding, I know. Jason Kelce. This is the Jason Kelce episode. That man has a pretty cool podcast as well. He's really good at football as well. So episode 62, we'll give it to Austin and those damn Eagles, I guess. But don't worry, Austin. It's only New York's time for a little bit. The Knicks
for now.
get this win. For now, things will go, I guess, for you guys, maybe back to normal, unless Jackson Dart comes back and actually does some really cool shit.
Probably not.
But probably not, no. But the topics we have, so we had our first Final X match last week between Trent Hidlay and Mike Macchiavello. So we'll talk about that one. We'll talk about RAF, the card, and some of the other things kind of encompassed in there. And then we'll make our Final X picks as well. There are some matches that are not happening, as we found out today on Monday, that some people are getting an extension on, or at least a postponement, I should say, for some of those matches. So we'll dig into that, as well as, like I said, making our picks. But as always, we always weigh in before we jump into any of our topics. And for my weigh in, I'm going to give a shout out to my man, Pankale Chander, who is now the head wrestling coach at Division III Utica. Him and I have talked a good bit. I've had him on some other podcasts. It was awesome to have him back at our alma mater, Wilkes University, after being a head coach prior and, coming back to Wilkes. But I think it was time for him to go on to being a head coach again and just being the awesome coach that he is. So really proud of him. It's been awesome to, one, get to know him over the years, be a little bit of a sounding board, a little bit of a mentor back in the day when he was still in college, and him ask me some questions about some career things, but always awesome to chop it up with him anytime we get to talk. But really super proud of Pankale Chander getting another head coaching job, because he honestly really deserves it. Austin, on to you.
Yes, I'll give a shout out to some news that just dropped this past week. Columbia University is adding a women's team in the year 2027-28 for that season. Did a quick search here. It looks like about 112 women's college teams through all divisions now. I know we kind of talked, Penn, Cornell, Brown all kind of have some club teams. Princeton as well have some club teams in the Ivy Leagues. So Columbia is kind of that first one to make that jump to the varsity level. So I would expect more to follow in the very near future here. And then adding to the list of 112 women's teams, I think there's about 20 schools being added in the future here in the next 2 or 3 seasons. So women's wrestling, obviously hot growing commodity. We've all known that. Just going to keep on rolling there. Second shout out is to my oldest son, Hendrix, turns 4 on the 16th, which would be today when you guys are seeing this, tomorrow as we're recording. Happens to have the same birthday as the one and only Tupac Shakur. So 2 legends, the same birthday there.
Do you have a bobblehead from the Orioles like Tupac did? Or are you still working on that?
No, we were thinking about going to that game. Couldn't make it work, though.
You and everyone else.
I know.
You talked about it too, and that was insane.
Would have been cool to do.
Yeah.
Pretty dope. Robbie, on to you.
I'm going to give out a shout out to the entire Hidlay universe. It was a very busy weekend for the Hidlays this weekend. If anyone noticed, Hayden was not at Trent's match because his wife was giving birth. So congrats to Hayden and Emily on their new addition. And congrats to Trent on his world team spot with the win over Mike Mock, that we'll talk about in a little bit.
Yeah, the Hidlay crew. Awesome crew of people. Claunch, bring it home.
All right. First shout out is Andrew Alirez and Justin Gaethje rocking my Northern Colorado gear today. And also would love to talk to Tion Ware in the near future about what he's doing with that program there. I think that'd be fun to go through and talk about his college career too. So anyway, now on to a fun story. Quick little story from this Saturday. Just got done with some garage sailing, went to go get some gas, and had to run into the store real quick. So anyway, this guy comes out of the gas station. He's got an RAF shirt. Pretty unmistakable shirt. Big black letters, RAF. It's white with like the pink and the blues and everything. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm like, hey, you watching tonight? And he was like, what? Like, your shirt, your RAF. There's an event tonight. You watching? And he was like, oh, yeah. I'm like, yeah, man, have fun. Go Tony Ferguson. He was like, you're a Tony Ferguson fan. I was like, yeah, he wrestled at Grand Valley State. Yeah, absolutely. He's like, that's why I hate that guy. Fuck Tony Ferguson. And I was like, all right, man, sounds good. Have a good night, and he drives off and I'm pissed off. I'm like, I hope Tony Ferguson kicked that guy's ass, and that's why he's pissed off, right? I go into the store, I'm grabbing whatever we need to get. I'm going back out to the truck, I'm throwing it in the back, and this guy walks up shirtless. It's a gas station like on a lake. So like dude was, getting some stuff for his boat or whatever, but he walks up, he's shirtless, he goes, fuck that guy that done not like Tony Ferguson. Had nothing to do with the conversation before. I go, thank you. Yes. I'm like, I'm not crazy, right? He's like, no, man, that guy sucks. Like, I was like, thank you so much for saying that. That really, really improved my day. So, yeah. And Tony didn't have a great night with wrestling, but he went out there and competed and was wearing some pretty awesome gold Adidas shoes, some old school ones, Responses, I believe.
That's pretty funny. Out on the lake, seeing a couple of guys that know wrestling.
Yeah, so shout out to shirtless guy who also doesn't like that other guy.
Big goal.
That's such an East Coast thing. That is such an East Coast thing. I could never go to a store here in Texas and see people that know wrestling. Like,
that's great.
Unless I run into somebody that works at Flow. Like, It just doesn't really happen. That is such an East Coast thing.
It was great. Great interaction all around.
That's awesome. Let's get to our topics. And first one, we're going to talk Hidlay versus Mock before we spin back around the Final X to finish out the episode. The matches were tight. They were very close matches. And shout out to Cornell Kevin as well for, I actually forgot that Mock and Hidlay had wrestled, and he commented on the last show about their last match at 3-3. And, I had forgotten about that happened at, I can't remember what tournament, but I remember that result. And I'm like, man, like he's right. Like this could be a lot closer, I think, than maybe we expected. I think we may have, we didn't like poo-poo it, but like we kind of downplayed it a little bit. I mean, Trent's a fucking world champ, right? Like certainly world champs can lose and everything else, but he's been above everyone here in the States for a good bit. But like, to Kevin's point in the last show about how well Mock has wrestled and continued to progress and everything else, it's pretty awesome to see a couple guys like that, one that have so much respect for each other, but that wrestle very hard and wrestled against each other very hard, and they knew what to expect. And, I think for me, it was interesting because, as I said on a couple shows ago, I now work with HBCU Wrestling, and I had a meeting with Kerry McCoy and Jai Jones and talked a little bit about the match coming up. And then, as anybody else knows from watching the show, I'm pretty close with Jamil Kelly, and Jamil and I talk a good bit. He literally just texted me as we started recording the show. So like, I was able to talk to the coaches that were in literally both corners for this match before it even, happened. So it was like really interesting to talk to both of them, not really about game plan or anything else, but to get their perspectives on the match and then to watch these matches and see how close and contentious they truly were. So it was a pretty cool perspective to get that, but then to see how well these two guys competed against each other knowing that that gap has closed, because they have wrestled in the past and Trent has wrestled very well. And I don't want to say blew the doors off of Mock, but like it wasn't as competitive as these matches were this past weekend. So to see how Mock has really closed the door, and again, shout out to Cornell Kevin for reminding me of that 3-3 score. It does certainly put your thoughts into a different mindset when you go in to watching a match like that, right? But Robbie, I want to come back to you. Obviously, you know both of these guys very well too, with covering them in the ACC and just being around them. What were your thoughts on the match? Did it go as you expected?
For the most part, yeah. We kind of expected some tighter matches, lower scoring. The first match was, excuse me, more of what I expected throughout. And the second one kind of opened up a little bit, but a lot of edge control, a lot of positioning. I mean, Trent was trying to work to his underhook, and Mike was able to shut that down pretty well. One thing that Christian Piles hit on during the broadcast, that's something we've talked about it before, but Trent is really building off of his underhook series and getting into a lot of different positions and using it to set up different takedowns now. And that's instead of just using it as as control and getting to the edge for pushouts and setting up a single leg off of it really well. We saw a little bit of that in the second match. And I think what I kind of saw was that Trent was able to wear Mike down a little bit more in that second match. And those big points at the end were a result of, that constant pressure that Trent has. But I was impressed with both of them. I think Mock, he's certainly continuing to improve. He has closed that gap a little bit, and he looked good. I mean, but you're wrestling a world champ. It's not an easy thing to do. But yeah, like they were fun matches. It's the setting left a little bit to be desired, but it is what it is.
Yeah, I think you're right about his offense too. And I think we've mentioned that in the past when both Trent and Hayden were in their folk style days of people knowing that the underhook was coming after year one or year two, whatever it was, and how they had to like truly open up, and how in practice, they're told that they can't use an underhook for an entire practice to really open up their offense too. So I think, you're right. Obviously, you mentioned Christian mentioning that on the broadcast. Definitely something that you are seeing from Trent as he continues to transition and not be just an underhook guy. He obviously uses it very effectively and more strategically now, but being able to wrestle out in the open and fire off a shot without the underhook, which definitely was something that he would go to all the time.
Well, I think a lot of people think of Trent as just kind of a pace guy and just the underhook and not a lot to it. But like, I think the technical gains we've seen from him remind me a lot of like Keith Gavin. Everybody knew that Keith was a lot of arm drags, a lot of work from the upper body, and he had to constantly kind of refine that and add new tricks to his bag to be successful. And I think that's what we're seeing from Trent. I think it speaks a lot to the coaching that's going on in that room. I think Jamil has been a fantastic addition to that staff for Wolfpack, and it's only the beginning of what we're seeing from him.
For sure. Austin, your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of expected matches to be close just with their familiarity with each other. But it just goes to show how Trent can kind of switch things up, go from the underhook, go from space a little bit. It just shows, he's willing to, work on stuff in the room, try different things to expand his repertoire. A little bit kind of reminds you, like, when Jordan Burroughs burst on the scene, it was all blast doubles, right? And as he got older and a little more wiser, a little more seasoned, as we like to say here, a little more experience, he was shooting a little more low singles to set up that double. It was more reattacks to his double. So you kind of see Hidlay in that progression of expanding on what he's really good at, maybe hitting something else to get to that, or using that as a setup to get to his second shot or his 1B, 1C, whatever option is there. So it's good to see him expand and really just keep that pressure on and, kind of wear Mike down at the end.
Yeah. Kevin?
Well, the underhook, just to comment on a little bit of that too. I mean, he's still obviously using it a lot, but I think outside of just using other attacks, you can still add different layers of technique within that underhook too, right?
Yep.
Whereas it's not just, pushing and looking for a knee pick, which was a go-to, and then it was high crotch for a while. You can set up a ton of different stuff. If you drop the arm from the high part to the lower back, you can try and, hook and kind of pull him back the other way. There's a lot of different things even within that area that I think you can see he's added, to a position of strength. But as far as Mock goes, I mean, dude, like, you're right there with with the world champ at that weight, right? Like, it stinks that that's the guy you have to get through. But as it turns out, you have to make a world team to win a world championship, but you only have to make it one time, right? So I think he can still walk away from this feeling encouraged, feeling like he's still doing the right things, and that, hey, maybe next year is the year, and then you can start worrying about what you're going to do in 28 or whatever, the Olympic weight class changes up on you.
Yeah, that's going to be an interesting way to watch there with that shift next year as people kind of move towards their Olympic weight classes.
My thought is like Mock's training obviously has to change because he has a new coaching job, right? He's got to move. He's got to, I made the comment last week, like, I wonder if he's made the move yet, if he still has the same coaches. He hasn't obviously made the move because, he was still repping LVWC, but like, how does his style change, if at all, when he makes that move, right? Like, how does his training change? How does technique change? Because the, coaching perspectives are certainly different, obviously, no matter where you go. So like, it's going to open you up to a lot of different techniques and a lot of different thought processes and attacks and just different strategies too. So I'm interested to see what Mock looks like in 2027 with a training change, with a room change, with responsibility changes. He's also going to be coaching now too. So that's the interesting part for me, is just seeing how he continues to grow in that aspect on the mat, but like how he balances his on the mat training with his coaching training as well.
Army's got some decent upper weights.
Yeah,
you certainly do.
Yeah, they're heavies. There's like 3 that could probably be ranked in the country, and 97's some good guys there too. So yeah, he's in a good room for sure.
Some of the other wrestling that went on this past weekend was at RAF, and at RAF we saw Aaron Pico come back, and I think for people like me who was at Flow for the longest, and like us on the show that have always wondered what it would look like for Aaron Pico to be on the mat longer than what he was, I think it gave wrestling fans a bit of that nostalgia and thinking, okay, well, 2028 is a couple years away. What if, does he want to come back? Right? Like, does he want to continue to train? How's he want to, what's he want to do? Like, I think it just opened the door for so many more questions. I didn't see any, post-match interview or anything else. I didn't really pay much attention to that, but like, that's the first question I'm asking him, right? Like, what does this mean for you? Does it mean that you're only taking an RAF opportunity, or does it mean that you may pivot a little bit and you might continue to train wrestling? Obviously he has never probably stopped training wrestling as he is in the UFC, but like, what does this mean for you? So like, that was the thing when I was watching these matches and paying attention to the card, that I'm like, shit, like, that's what I wanted to see. That's what I was wondering, is like, what would Aaron Pico look like? What would we see from him? And would it be something that would give us that like longing for Pico to be back on the world stage? Right. So for me, that was I don't want to say the highlight, but like, that was the question. What's Pico look like back on a wrestling mat? We haven't seen it in, I don't know, I can't remember how long, like when his last match was. It was so long ago.
Decade.
Right. Like, it's been a long time. So that's what stuck out to me. That was the, I guess the highlight, if we're going to talk highlights and lowlights of this, which we obviously know what the lowlights were, but like, that was certainly something that I was just like, man, that was really interesting. What were your guys' thoughts on the card?
I would love to see Pico against somebody who is active, a younger talent, kind of give an idea of where he's really at. I mean, it's great to see him back on the mat, and he looked good, but he looked good against Lance Palmer. And not for nothing, Palmer's 10 years older than him, and it's not a huge test for him. So I would love to see Pico against somebody who's, kind of on that ladder right now and see where he's really at, because he's been, that the ultimate what if, what would he have been had he gone to college? What would he be if we had NIL when he was going into college? Because his big thing was signing with Bellator right out of the gate. And that took away any eligibility opportunity he had. So, I mean, he's always been that, what could we have had from him? What would he have done for the country? Where would he have been in the ladder? And how long would he, how long would he have had a successful career? Because he's fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, sticking with that same weight class, Sebastian Rivera looked fantastic.
That match was awesome.
That would be a fun match to get, like a Rivera versus Pico. And maybe that's too much to throw at Pico right now, right? Like, give him a little bit of time to get in here and wrestle around, because Rivera just looks fantastic. Like, that guy's so much fun to watch, and I'm such a huge fan of his. And that I was just thinking about it on the way home. I was like, God, it's so great that there's this opportunity for guys who want to continue to wrestle, but maybe aren't sure if they want to continue doing like actual world championships and Olympics. It gives these MMA guys an opportunity to still competitively wrestle and make money while still competitively training for MMA, and you kind of don't have to just choose between one or the other now. Like, if this is an avenue to get paid while doing this, like, it's a great avenue to have. So I'm super pumped. I just throw a couple other matches out there. I don't know if we're touching on all of them necessarily, but Alirez blowing out his bicep and then still winning the match.
Still getting
it done. 5-3. That was awesome, man. And I was so pumped for him to just in general, to see him back healthy and competing, and then for him to blow out his arm right away. I was like, oh shit. But I also wanted to shout out my friend Chris Dabano, because when a bunch of us 40-year-olds get together and play like flag football a couple times a year, he blew out his bicep like in the first play of a game once, and played all the way through the first half before his daughters made him leave and go to the hospital. So shout out to both him and Andrew Alirez. But
I'm sure that was a fun conversation when he got home.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I mean, it was one more just to shout out real quick. It's Keegan O'Toole, man. I thought like shit, Bexod's kicking his butt, and then he absolutely put it on him. And
then he ripped his finger off.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. He did bust his fingers.
That was pretty awesome.
I love when they tried to put it back in for a while, and then they just gave up. They were like, well, we have some tape. I mean,
cold spray and tape.
Didn't even bring out the cold spray.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
I thought for the most part, like, this was an excellent event.
Yeah.
And then
until the last match.
Right.
And it wasn't.
Which was so predictable. Like, why do we have this guy?
It really was. Everything always ends up like that when he's around. Like,
yeah.
And that's the part of RAF where we're just like, man, this Alirez, Jaden Ironman, who we have not seen in forever, right? Like, Pico back, like I said, back on there. I mean, Bastida, he may have lost, but it was like, what's he going to look like matching up in freestyle? And Keegan O'Toole was out, and him wrestling Bexod, and that was a good match. And, Sebastian Rivera, as we mentioned, like, all these very good matches. And then you get to the end, and you have a Dylan Dennis who's going for submissions and causing a fight. Like, he's not a wrestler. And that's the issue, is he's nothing but a loudmouth talker. And it's all he's ever really been. I mean, I shouldn't say ever been, because he was very good at jiu-jitsu for a good amount of time. And then it turned into not so much that. So, like, the high points of RAF is the fact that they can get guys who are UFC champions or former champions like Chimaev, but then they sign Larry Wheels to a fucking wrestling match. And
who the hell is that guy?
he's a bodybuilder on like Instagram. Like he's just like, I don't know.
I missed this, and I feel like I'm glad I did.
Yeah,
Sounds
he
fucking
was
stupid.
He was there sitting next to JDJ. He was sitting next to Johnny. I saw Johnny post a video with him, but I don't know. They put out that Larry Wheels was going to be wrestling someone, and I'm like, is this real? I'm on the RAF website right now. I want to see. I think it was.
This is what frustrates me, because for all the inroads they're making to have a successful professional wrestling outlet, we still have these stupid fucking sideshows that take away from the value of it. And I mean, it's not a lot of pushback of, it's good attention, but it's not good attention. I mean, just because you're getting eyeballs doesn't, I don't know.
They're wrestling
the weird part of the world we're in now, where it's everybody just wants eyeballs and metrics, and that's what matters.
Yeah, this match is Larry Wheels versus a guy named Real Tarzan. I have no idea either of them. I mean, I know who Larry Wheels is because I've seen him be.
Why do those both sound like porn star names?
Yeah. If you saw these photos, you'd probably think that they are.
I mean,
but they're wrestling on the Cleveland card on August 22nd.
The same card that Jordan Burroughs is on. Do we not see the fucking issue here?
Yeah.
One of the best wrestlers in the world, in United States history, on the same card with a fucking Instagram bodybuilder and somebody named Tarzan. Like, what are we doing? Like, let's decide which lane you want to go in. Do you want to be a sideshow attraction, or do you want to be a wrestling? Pick a lane, guys.
It's tough, because it's almost like, I mean, you got to remember who some of the promoters are, right? And so then it's like, this is kind of like when they had Doink the Clown in WWF, and it was just like this stupid sideshow idea that they were going to have, and maybe it'll bring in some young kids, and maybe we'll have some gimmicks out of it, and it'll be fun. But it's like, no, that's if we're going to do gimmicky shit, like, let's do something fun. Like, who's the smallest dude that could kick Larry Wheels' ass, right? Like, Caleb Smith could probably beat him. Johnny DeJulius.
A friend of mine actually sent me a video of Larry Wheels doing jiu-jitsu against some real small guy.
Yeah, dude. So I swear to God, I thought I recognized that guy. I think my buddy sent me the same thing. And yeah, just random MMA dudes, like actual wrestlers in an MMA gym, were kicking his ass. It's like, I'll kick his ass. I'm 170 pounds of hair, and
there's something to this.
Yeah, I think that would draw more attention, is get big name UFC guys, big name MMA guys, and get physically smaller wrestlers and just see what they can do with it. Like, see how does that match up? Is size a factor here? But
I know size does not matter, Austin. I've been told my whole life.
I always say that too. It's I won't say what I was going to say, but I noticed this when I was at the Philly RAF too. Chael Sonnen, when he's interviewing these wrestlers, he's pushing like, who do you want to call out next? Who's your next opponent? And a lot of the wrestlers are just like, whoever they throw at me. Wrestlers. There's not really wrestlers that have like a rival, like the WWE model that they're kind of going after. UFC guys are always calling guys out. Wrestlers aren't really built like that, So it's you have to find the right mix to mash those together. But that's why you get these MMA sideshows, because these guys hate each other. They want to call each other out, and they know that sells, right? But wrestlers are just like, throw me an opponent, I'm going to beat them. They're very robotic, like in that nature, which is different from MMA, right? So I don't know.
Except for Bo Bassett, who is like has known how to market himself for many years.
For sure,
and capitalizes on that very well.
Yeah. But like, to my point, he's not out calling people out. Like, I want to wrestle this guy and this guy. Bo's along the lines of, I'll wrestle anybody, anytime. It doesn't matter, So it's just different in that aspect.
It'd be hilarious if Bo Bassett was like, "Real Woods, how about a real piece of shit? I'll show you what being real is all about. How about a real injury?"
Just cutting promos. But like, you want to be behind stuff like this, right? Like, from the very start, we've always said, like, we want to support RAF. Like, think about how much praise we just gave the card that they just had until we got to the Dylan Dennis of it all. And it's like, it always turns into a shit show. This is the second fight that you guys have had at RAF. Like,
in 10 events.
Shit like this, like, doesn't fly. Like it's just, I don't know.
And it doesn't have the same feeling as, like, a shoving match during a football game. This is a, all out on the mat, both teams, both training teams coming up, hitting each other. I mean, I think the person who did the best job in that whole scrap was the referee who was holding back Chimaev. Like, that was who I was impressed with. But
well, he went for the most dangerous man out there and the thing is like, I also feel like Chimaev held himself back because there was nothing between him and
what
Dylan
does he have to
Dennis
gain from that?
When it was over. He could have probably beat the hell out of Dylan Dennis. Like, let's call it what it is. He could have.
But there's nothing to gain for him from that. There's no
exactly.
He's not going to get more eyeballs for that. He's not going to get more money for that. He's not going to get notoriety. It's not going to help him in his promotion. It's just stupidity from Dennis, who from jump, as soon as we saw his name on this card, every single one of us said this is a stupid idea and he has no business being there.
Yeah.
But here we are.
And I brought it up as we were getting ready. Like, Earl made a great point in our group of, the same day you announced Jordan Burroughs is now signed to RAF, you have Dylan Dennis trying to choke out Chimaev and getting pinned in a fireman's carry.
He should be kicked off the card just for that.
And you announce
embarrassing.
Real Tarzan versus Larry Wheels is going to be happening on the same time that you're debuting arguably one of the best wrestlers to ever step on the mat. Like, it is just not, it's not good. And to get to Earl's point, like he mentioned, he's like, Burroughs has been very strategic about his persona, about how he carries himself, what he associates himself with. So, like, do you want to clean it up a little bit here, RAF? Like, I don't think that he's going to want to be a part of something if it continues to looks like that. I understand. You can't even really say it's an outlier to have a fight like that because it's the second time it's happened. The first one, Willie broke his
20% of your cards.
Like, can we just not? Like, you could legitimately put together a very good cards without the sideshow of it all. But
counterpoint: Jordan Burroughs versus 5 dwarves.
I mean, it'd be hell of a blast double.
Or Tarzan's cheetah, whatever animal he has with him.
You ever see that though on like Instagram? It'll just be like, 3-on-3 MMA fights in Czechoslovakia, and it's just like these wild things, just people getting knocked out.
Or were they fighting the car? Shit like that, like just stupid silly shit.
The one that I saw that was amazing was like the one where they're in like full night uniform or night.
Yeah,
those are amazing. They're hitting each other with fucking maces. That's wild.
What's even more wild is
that's a sideshow that's what they're going for. They're not trying to be a legitimate organization. They're trying to be the sideshow.
That's how brutal
there's a time and
humans
place
were back in the day, though, right? Like, isn't that wild to think of? Just like 1,500 dudes on each side with swords and maces, just beating the living hell out of each other until they're dead.
I mean, we're talking about RAF and how much of a sideshow it was. We also gave it praise. Like, we're equal opportunity here. Like, very good card. But like, speaking of crazy shit, we talked about this last week. We didn't offline, not on the show, but WrestleBall now has Pat Downey.
Hell yeah. Which is perfect.
It's
Pat Downey should be in WrestleBall.
Well, and Handsome Nate Jackson too.
He loves basketball. That's great.
Yeah.
Handsome Nate's in.
You just got to find your tent. You got to find your clown tent. And I think he found it. I mean, WrestleBall is kind of awesome though. I watched it one morning at the gym.
It's legit.
Pretty cool.
I'm going to check it out.
I mean, we've all played it in the room in some variety. Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
Plus it's on ESPN 8 The Ocho. So
So you know it's legit. Yeah.
You know it's legit. You know it's legit. But no, I really want RAF to do well.
It's just it's so hard to see that, and then you have a card in Georgia next week with some of the biggest names in international wrestling.
Yeah.
And you can't have both. Like you've got to choose which way you want to go. Do you want to be the attraction where we're just trying to get eyeballs, or do you want to, build off of what you've already started, done well with, and actually go down the legitimate route with these big matches, with the high caliber guys that you have signed. Like this, it's a hell of a lineup they've got so far. Like use it. Get rid of the fluff that we don't need. Like it's not, or have that as a legitimate sideshow match in between. Don't promote it as a real thing.
Yeah. Yeah, this match going down in Tbilisi, like, wow. I'm assuming Real Woods is no longer wrestling in this July 11th match.
I would hope not.
I mean, it is about a month from now, but like if he's postponing his Final X match, would not be a good look.
USA Wrestling would probably not be too happy.
Yes.
If he would, yeah.
So yeah. But this
card
intense,
though.
This card is serious.
Akhmat Aliyev,
Jake Varner versus
Petriashvili.
Oh,
that one's gonna be sweet.
Yeah, there's some damn good matches here. Snyder, Sajalayev again.
So the fact that they got that one, that's serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then at the same time, it's I guess that they do have it as the main event, even though it's not listed as the headliner. Like they have Cejudo Daviashvili as the main event.
Yeah.
The way it's laid out here. But if you're talking about wrestling and looking for an international audience, the Russians will watch Sajalayev. And I would expect a very large contingent of people watching this, and this should be the premier match on this card. Yeah. And it to not have top billing is interesting to me. I mean,
no, I think for their headline, but it is the main event.
Yeah.
I honestly think that the Cejudo match was deemed the main event before they got Snyder and Sajalayev, and it just stuck that way. But on the card, when you click into it, the Cejudo match is the co-main event. So yeah, so it is Snyder Sajalayev is the championship match. It is the main event. But like this, I mean, this card's going to be awesome. It's going to be a very good card.
I mean, honestly, Rutherford Akhmat Aliyev, that is a fucking top tier match. I mean, it's with Rutherford looking better the more he gets back on the mat. This could be a great test for him if he's able to make the team.
Yeah. I mean, you've got a lot of our top tier people. I mean, you've got Helen, Varner may be retired, but still an Olympic champion.
Mm-hmm.
I still wouldn't mess with
Rutherford, Snyder, right? Like this is a very good card. There's no fluff in this one, so to speak. Whereas you come to the States and it's like, all right, let's, start playing roll out the barrel for half the fucking matches sometimes. And it's just like,
they didn't want to pay to get a visa for Tarzan.
No, he's
weird.
But he lives out that way in Georgia.
But again, I want RAF to succeed. I want it to have a good reputation and for wrestlers to have the ability to continue to make money and not feel like they are part of a sideshow where there's going to be fights in the main event and people are going to be rushing the mat and, it's littered with Instagram celebrities, so to speak. I use that term very loosely. Like,
is that real Tarzan's music?
Yeah. So I don't know. It is what it is. I'm just hopeful that, I'm hopeful that they do succeed. I just do not, and I don't have to agree with everything that they do. I'm not part of the decision-making process, but it's just like, you want to attach yourself to some really reputable wrestlers should probably make sure that we're doing things with the utmost standard and respect for those wrestlers that you have on your card. Just my thought.
I'm not sure about you guys, but I think it's crazy to me that Pico and Kyle Snyder are the same age, and Pico's been out of wrestling for like 10 years. Like, look what Snyder's achieved in that time frame, and Pico makes a comeback. We're like, yeah, so he's only 29, he's so ready, and Snyder's like, hey, I've been here these 10 years, I'm still 29. It's just crazy.
It's just going to
the
be
fact that Sajalive is only
wrestling
30. I thought Sajalive was so much older.
Well, he's 30 in Dagestani years. We don't know what that really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Snyder. I'm still here, guys. Shut up, old man.
Look at this young guy here in Pico coming in.
Yeah, exactly. We miss him.
We miss that guy. Let's talk Final X. Before we even jump into any of the matchups, we've got, what is it, Kylie Welker, Kennedy Blades, and Real Woods that are all getting extended or postponed matches. So injuries, I'm guessing, for all of them, so to speak, right? Like, I don't know what the injuries are. I haven't, done enough reading into it. Frankly, I don't really care what their injuries are. But what'd you say, Robbie?
Real said he's been in the hospital with I'm assuming
I did see that he has like a staph infection or something.
Yeah, so it's an antibiotic resistant infection. So I'm guessing some sort of MRSA. And that's no fun.
No, that's super dangerous.
It's definitely not fun to deal with. So that's I haven't heard anything specific for Kylie or Kennedy. But I don't know. They have the opportunity to make this into an actual card if they can arrange a date for all those three matches at the same time.
And by the way, when I say I don't care what their injuries are, I say that because I just want them to be healthy. So like what their injuries are doesn't make a difference. I just want them to be healthy and back out on the mat. Not that I don't really give a shit about their health. It's more so that I do, and I want them back out there. But like, how do you guys feel about postponing a wrestle off? I know we've seen it a number of times. James Green literally made his first world team at Fargo because somebody fell off a treadmill. But like, how do we feel?
Just talk about how fucking stupid that story was.
Yeah,
come on.
That was.
You're
not gonna make it. Just fall.
That's fantastic.
Who knows? But the postpone wrestle off, people are debating it right now. They're like, they shouldn't be able to do this. This is, however you feel about it.
They're only able to do it because they're world medalists.
Yeah,
that's the only reason they get that option.
But how do you guys feel about being able to postpone a wrestle off, and it only being offered to world medalists?
Honestly, I
like that it's earned. Like there's stipulations that it can't just be anybody, and it's protecting people who've won medals before.
Well, and I think it also is trying to protect the quality and the competitiveness of the team, to a degree. Now, I'm sure that there's checks and balances with this where they're saying, hey, what's the situation? Almost like a doctor's note sort of thing, right? Which you can always manipulate whatever one of those situations you really want to. But I trust the competitive integrity of the people who are doing it. So I'm going to say, hey, I want to have as competitive a team as possible. We've seen it happen where people get the extensions and then they show up and they're still not ready anyway and lose their spot. So it is what it is, man. I'm not, what was that, Vito last year or something?
Yeah.
Like he got the extension and still wasn't able to win it, So it's like.
Yeah, he only had neck surgery after that. So.
Right.
Minor detail.
Nothing serious.
It's just like, I don't know. I understand that like there's some level of, suck it up, buttercup, get out there and compete at the date that you agreed to compete. It's like, but don't we also want these people training hard so that they're ready to go? And sometimes
don't we want the best team?
Hurt. Right. So is it perfect? No. Are we missing, I think you said, Austin, 25% of the matches we thought we were going to get at Final X? Yes. Am I cool with it?
The Elite doesn't have a match either.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Like I'm good. I want the best team possible, and if these people who've earned this opportunity need to take it, so be it.
Why was the Zahid match postponed?
What?
Amit, not Zahid.
I don't think.
Amit doesn't have a match.
Yeah.
But didn't Zahid have? Was it last year? No, I'm thinking Dake Daringer. That's what I'm thinking. So I'm looking at Dake. Garinger is what it was a couple years ago.
Well, and I do think the process has gotten better over the years. That one, there was already weirdness around the postponement, and same with the Marable Green one. Like there was weirdness around it. So the process is improving from what it used to be.
Yeah. So the rule says that only last year's medalists are allowed to request one. It has to be within 48 hours of weigh-ins. It has to be reviewed by the committee chair, and include written certification of injury or illness from a USA Wrestling approved doctor. So it's not just coach said I stubbed my toe and I can't wrestle. It's a legit thing.
The problem is the doctor for USA Wrestling is Dr. Nick Riviera. So
hi, Dr. Nick. Hi, everybody.
My question is there like a second date where all these, or maybe it's just me kind of wishing that, is there like a second date where it's like, all right, you can't wrestle on this date, 3 weeks from now, if you can't make it then you give up your spot kind of thing? Or is it, there's like these four matches are going to be rescheduled for whenever they can, or is they all going to try and schedule them the same day as like a second Final X date? You know what I mean?
I think logistically it would make sense to try to do it at once. My guess would be, with the way the timing lines up, Fargo would make a lot of sense, since you're already going to have everybody there, including officials. I mean, it's not optimal, but there's not going to be an optimal option, right? This Final X is the optimal option, and it's not an option for these 3 matches. So we saw what the turnout looked like for Trent and Mike's match this weekend. It was not great. Welcome to wrestling in Virginia. That's how we roll.
I mean, Christian Pyle said it was a wrestling hotbed, or what did he call it on the production when it started? Wrestling country. He did say that.
There's lots of adjectives I could use.
Country was spelled different.
Yeah. None of those would be my choice.
I mean, maybe he was just trying to hype up his home state, but
maybe.
I believe that statement was uttered on the broadcast.
And who knows? I've been here for 20 years. Joking, I would not refer to it as a hotbed of many things.
I think it was wrestling country. I don't think it was a hotbed, but I think he's called it wrestling country. Just saying.
Sure. Let's go with that. That's why we have so many state championships, because there's so many people in the country wrestling here. That's why we need 7 divisions.
They were wrestling and they were in a country, so
ipso facto.
He was talking about the United States.
So many state champions. It's like, I think we talked about this before. In our hometown, you see a state champion and it's not rare because we're so good at wrestling. In Virginia, you see a state champion because everyone is a state champion.
There's a lot of them. There are a lot.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, let's talk wrestling. Let's dive into these men's matches. Starting at 57, Lillidahl, Spencer Lee. Is Spencer Lee a healthy Spencer Lee? Here's the thing. He didn't ask for a postponement. He probably wants one, but I don't think he
didn't medal last year either.
He didn't medal last year, yeah. So, yeah, it is right, because he had to go through the open and then the trials too. But either way, like, if he's a healthy Spencer, I think it's a bit of a different match. I think in that first match with Luke, and also you pointed it out, he got a little banged up, and then we obviously saw the wrap on the elbow at the trials. But you have to be confident that Luke can go with him, right? Because he's certainly shown it that he can. I mean, obviously he's beaten Spencer, but we're talking about a Spencer that was wounded. Wrap on the elbow and everything that kind of came with it. So, like, that's the question for me, is like, is Spencer healthy? Is he 100%? How's the elbow? But I see this going 3 matches. I don't see this going 2. I see this going 3, and I think Spencer wins the third. I think he wins the first and the third in order to get his spot back. But it is not going to be easy for him against Luke Lilladall. Robbie, your pick. What are your thoughts on 57?
That was my exact thought. I think it goes 3. I think I have Luke actually winning the first one and then Spencer going back to back. But I don't know. I think the veteran savvy being in those big spots, not that Luke hasn't, but I don't know. It's hard to pick against Spencer Lee.
Yeah. Claunch?
I thought of this analogy. I'm going Lee in 2, and I think Lee is just definitively better than Luke Lilladall. He was winning that match for most of it. Whatever happened to his elbow, whether it impacted the match or not. I just think if you wrestle these matches 100 times, he wins 90 of them, 99 of them. I think he's that much better. There was a great movie in 1962 called Dr. No, where James Bond hides this pillow underneath a blanket so it looks like him, and then Professor Dent comes in and like shoots the blanket 7 times. Meanwhile, Bond is like hanging out behind the door playing cards, and then the guy walks in, drops the gun. They have a little bit of conversation. The guy picks the gun up and goes to shoot him. The whole time Bond is dicking around because he's like, hey, man, that's a Smith & Wesson. It holds 7 shots, and you shot the pillow 7 times, you idiot. And then he shoots Professor Dent in the face. I think Luke Lilladall is Professor Dent, and he's shot his 7 shots, and he's not going to have anything else. I think Spencer Lee is going to be – he's had to work to get back to this point to begin with, and he's not going to dick around with him anymore.
Interesting. Austin?
Is Harvey Dent his son?
After that long analogy, I think I agree with Claunch.
Yes!
I think
him.
I think Spencer Lee's the better wrestler. I don't think he's ready to give up the spot another month, at least, right? To get more healthy. It might be in 3 matches, but I still think Spencer's the better guy here, and I think maybe that loss is a wake up call. He's wrestled with injuries before. He's fought through them. I think he's going to do the same if he is hurt.
Well, and we keep talking about this injury thing. He just had to wrestle a bunch of matches to get here.
Yeah,
right. Like he looked
none of
pretty
those
damn
guys
healthy.
are as good as Luke Lilladall.
Yeah, they're not Luke Lilladall, though. That's the thing.
I'm aware of that, but my point is about his health. He looked healthy. He wrestled well.
He did.
Yeah, I guess. I think he was able to compensate for the elbow. Maybe he had been wrestling with it for a while, so like whether or not he was truly healthy or not, maybe it was just by that point he was used to the wrap on the elbow and how he had to attack any of these other opponents with that wrap on his elbow. So, I mean, but no, I certainly think he's had enough time off. He's had enough time to rest and allow that elbow to get better and get treatment and everything else. But it's still a question. Like, I wonder if he comes in with a wrap on his elbow again, right? I wonder if maybe he's just got a sleeve on, something to protect that elbow, or is it not really a factor? We'll certainly see.
Excuses are for wusses. So
Right.
Right, it is. 61, Blaze Jax Forrest. This one. This should be like the last match, honestly. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of people that want to stick around for this one. I think this one goes 3 as well, and I think it's Jax Forrest that ends up winning it, but I think it does go 3. It's gonna be a hard fought battle. Obviously, I mean, every single one of these should be these, this is the cream of the crop, but man, it's tough to see because we've seen Jax make the adjustments. We saw him do it in folk style. We saw him do it in freestyle. That's the part for me is like he makes adjustments very well. And that's what I think he's able to do here with even more time to watch film and against an opponent that he knows very well too. Austin, your thoughts on Jax Forrest versus Marcus Blaze?
I see this one going 3 matches. I'm honestly still undecided. If I flip a coin, it could go either way for me. I just feel like Blaze's defense is so good. He doesn't really open up much, which is good in freestyle. But Jax can score points in bunches, so he could literally just end it with one move, or maybe not tech fall end it, but go up 4 or 5 points on Blaze, and then Blaze scoring that many points could be a struggle for him. But I think I like Blaze in this one in 3 matches.
Claunch.
Dude, Austin, you and I are locked in here, man. So it's so great. So great. I just think that Blaze is so
Get a
good
room.
at holding position. He circles well. He does it in a way where he's still aggressive enough where he's not going to get put on the shot clock too. So I think I just see him figuring out a way to get it done in 3. We've seen a lot of Jax Forrest wrestling lately. We know what his attacks are going to look like. We know kind of how he tries to get to, and I'm not saying that like they're not varied and that there's not like some, he's dangerous everywhere, right? But Blaze just doesn't come out of his stance. He knows how to hit some great counters and keep the action moving. And I think in the course of 3 matches, he's going to figure it out.
Yeah. We'll skip 65 for now. We'll wait until they schedule that one.
I'm not going to make a pick.
Oh, my bad. Completely forgot about you making a pick. I was looking at the 70 and I was like, Ridge Lovett, there's no way he's picking him and just kind of but yeah, go ahead.
Wrong.
At 61.
No, I think Jackson 3. I think it's going to be very tight in all 3 matches. But I think Jax gets it done.
Yeah. We're 2 for 2 here. We're a split group. Like I said, 65 we'll skip for now. 70, Ridge Lovett, Zane Rutherford. Man, it's tough to see Ridge scoring on Zane Rutherford. Zane Rutherford's very stingy. He's wrestled everybody pretty tight lately. I think he's maybe getting back to his, I can't really say his old self because it's been a couple of years since he wrestled, so it's tough to even get back there. But like maybe getting back to his more offensive self, or at least this version of that. But like his defense is crazy, and it's always been pretty crazy and really hard to score on. I think Ridge puts himself in a lot more wrestling positions than Zane Rutherford allows himself to go into so that he can control the match. And with this being one of those clashes of styles where Ridge will certainly let it fly. And obviously we've seen Ridge with, 1 point on the board, but of these 2, Ridge is certainly more of the guy that we have seen just score points in bunches and just kind of go out and put points on the board. I think that Zane Rutherford has such a stingy defense that he's going to score maybe once or twice on his own attacks. And I don't want to say shut it down, but become the defensive wrestler that we've seen lately.
You can say shut it down because that's what he does.
To a certain extent,
not necessarily in a bad way, but like he definitely, when he feels comfortable with where he's at, he just goes into defense mode and it is what it is.
Yeah. I think you're right about that. Robbie, who's your pick here at 70?
I think it's going to be Zane. I think Ridge relies a lot on getting into positions to cause exposure in, I guess, more unorthodox positions. And I don't think Zane will allow himself to get into those positions. He's too foundational and doesn't get out of his stance. And I think it'll be difficult for Ridge to break that. So I think I got Zane in 2.
Yeah. Austin?
Yeah, I agree with Robbie. I think Zane's just too solid, too defensive minded, too stingy in his stance and positioning. It's going to be tough for Ridge to get Zane out of that and, force him to wrestle Ridge's positions, which are kind of scramble, funky, unorthodox positions. Basically repeat what Robbie said. So I like Zane in 2.
Claunch.
Good analysis, Robbie.
I got Ridge in 3. And in A View to a Kill, no, I'm kidding. Another
See which Bond movies this go to.
1983, I think. Anyway, no, I just think Ridge Lovett is going to get it done. I think in the course of 3 matches, if he can stay patient and not put himself in compromising positions over and over and over again, then he's going to be able to find ways to score enough points. I don't, for as much as we say like, oh, I don't see Ridge scoring enough points to be able to do this to Zane. I kind of don't see Zane doing enough to score enough points to beat Ridge. I think Ridge is just going to keep attacking and try to figure things out. You can get Tech Falled in the first match, and guess what? You're still going to have at least one other chance, So, like, go see what you can find. Go see what you're feeling, Go see if his pace is going to be as high as it used to be to the point where you're uncomfortable, or if you can hand fight with him and try to find some openings. And I think Ridge is certainly capable of doing that and figuring out different ways to attack. There's certainly a lot more tape on this version of Zane Rutherford than there has been this version of Ridge Lovett. And so I think that's kind of where he might have a bit of an edge.
3-1 on that one. I think we're probably going to split on this one too. 74, David Carr, James Green. The interesting thing here is that Jordan Burroughs has been training David Carr. David Carr has been, I believe, with him in Pennsylvania or New Jersey, I think, wherever Jordan's facility is. I saw a picture of them today with him and Chance, a couple other guys that they'd obviously been training together, but there was other pictures and stuff that Carr had posted of Burroughs training David Carr. So, like, that's a very interesting dynamic, obviously, because James Green and Jordan Burroughs were kind of a 1-2 punch for a good bit. Especially back in, I can remember James's first world championships in Vegas. Like, very different. Like, those guys obviously went to Nebraska together, like all the above. So, like, that's a dynamic of, David Carr knowing something about James Green that others probably wouldn't, because he's got one, arguably one of the best wrestlers in the world in his corner, at least for his training. But then two, like, he's got the guy that has trained with James Green for so long. And obviously that's James Green prior to the hip surgery, but still makes a difference.
That's broke hip James Green.
Yeah. I mean, still makes a difference though, right? Like, tactics are still tactics. So, but the other side of that is David Carr hasn't looked his best. He hasn't looked his most offensive. It's looked a little different.
And James has.
So, I mean, it's tough. I don't really want to make a pick here. Like, I'm going to, but, like, this is a very tough matchup because James has looked very good. David Carr hasn't looked himself, and it's tough to know there. Plus, like, James up at 74, a little bit different. So a lot of factors to weigh in. I'm gonna go with David Carr mostly because this has been his weight. He's been in this weight class for a little bit. He's training with Burroughs. He's making those tweaks and fine tunes that he needs to make. So I'm gonna go with David Carr here. Claunch, your thoughts here at 74?
I'm doing the same. I'm going in 3 though. And really, I just think that Carr, the best version of Carr is the one that I want on this world team. And I think that's kind of why I'm picking it. I think that he's got the higher ceiling and chance to bring home a medal. I think we've probably gotten past that with James Green at this point in his career. He's looked great, but let me put it this way. Does James Green look great for what you expected James Green at this point to look, or does he look great? Because I think it's the first thing. I think he looked great for the old version of James Green, and that's been fun and exciting. And I think that, David Carr has looked disappointing for this young, kind of entering his prime version of David Carr. But realistically, like, that's where we are. And if he can put it together here and make this happen, I think he'll be in a good spot. I'm not worried about the Melvin Miller match so much because I think that A, Melvin Miller might be that good. And B, it's human nature to get up a whole bunch of points against a high school kid and think that he's going to stop coming after you, You
mean Jaden James, right?
Jaden James. I'm sorry. Melvin Miller, Jaden James. Yeah. All these alliterative names. Yes, I did mean
wrestling
that.
is what we do.
Yes. But no, I think that I think that you're going to get Carr in 3. I think the best version of Carr is going to show up and get it done at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
oh,
Robbie.
go ahead, Austin.
I was just say once again, I agree with Claunch. I think it's gonna be 3 matches, and I think it's Carr's weight. I think his best version of him is better in the world stage in comparison, and I know Holmes touches on a lot, just his adjustments mid-match, in between breaks, in between matches. If he takes a loss to Green, I think he makes some of those tweaks, especially working with Burroughs. I could probably work on the mental side of it as well, because he's been in these tough spots where he was the guy and people chasing after him, and maybe Carr has a little bit of that in his mind too. So, give me Carr in 3.
Robbie.
I got Greasy and Threezy.
Because it rhymes.
I just haven't been impressed with David lately. He doesn't seem to be himself. And I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know if it's a physical thing. He just has not looked as good as what we have seen and what we expect from him. I don't disagree. I think David probably does have a higher ceiling on the world stage, but I think the experience of James Green in this position, and as good as he's looked lately, I think I trust him to be able to get it done. And that's, I don't know, I think it's going to be close. I think there's going to be 3 low scoring matches, but I think James gets it done.
Agreed on the low scoring matches. I think there's going to be a lot of attacks. I think there's going to be a lot of offense, but I think it's going to be a little lopsided. I think David Carr is going to be the one attacking a lot more than James Green. But yeah, I do think it is going to be low scoring. So moving on to 79, we've got Levi Haynes and Chance Marsteller. As we just said, Chance has been training with David Carr and Jordan Burroughs. So, and Chance is very tough. He's obviously beaten Burroughs before, made a world team. Like, Chance is very good. Levi Haynes, I think the thing that stood out for me with Levi Haynes is that over the last year of him wrestling folk style, he really seemed to fill out even more, where he looked a little undersized last year in his new weight class. And then this year was, full blown, like, this is mine. Like, I'm a grown ass man. But man, it's tough for me to pick against Chance Marsteller. I think Chance definitely has what it takes to make another world team and to beat Levi Haynes on his way to doing it. I think it does take him 3 matches. Maybe I'm giving a lot of leeway, maybe hedging the bet a little bit to say these are going to be closer, because I know I've said that 3 matches for a good bit of these, but like, this is another one that is very close for me, in terms of just like caliber and guys that are hitting, and it's a bit of a clash of styles and just interesting. But no, I think it's going to be Chance Marsteller. I think it's going to be 3 matches. Robbie, your thoughts on Chance versus Haynes?
I think it's going to be very gritty. I don't know. I just want to see Chance. I want to see Chance on the team. I think I lean towards Levi Haynes, just because his trajectory has continually just gone up and up, and the room that he's in, there's constant improvement.
Yeah,
I would like to see Chance, but I think it's going to be Haynes in 3.
Claunch.
I too have Haynes in 3. And before I let this bother me anymore, A View to a Kill was 1985. I was wrong. Sorry. Levi Haynes took 2nd in the world last year at the senior level. 2nd in the world. And I know it's a new year, but I mean, he did that while he still had a year left in college, and now he's training full-time freestyle. I think he's going to win. I think Chance Marsteller has got a great story, and he's done really well, and he's made a world team, and he's beaten Jordan Burroughs. But he also did that when you could be grounded, and he got pushed out a shit ton in that match against Burroughs. It was
That
very
is a valid
controversial
point.
because he also had that 4-point throw that I don't think most people think was 4 points for him. Or it was at least debatable, right? But yeah, I don't think that he's going to be the way the rules are set now. He doesn't make that world team. It goes to Jordan Burroughs, and I definitely think that Levi Haines is just the better wrestler right now, and is looking to hold that spot. I do think it goes 3.
Yeah. Austin, on you. I know the last time that you saw Haynes and Marsteller, they were both probably wearing orange singlets, but what do you think of this Haynes Marsteller match?
I love me Chance Marsteller. Love his story. Love that he's really using his second or third chance, pun intended, on wrestling here. But I think you gotta go Levi Haines. I think he's a better guy. Claunch said second in the world last year, and I don't know if it's gonna go 3. I might lean 2, but if it goes 3, I won't be shocked. I just think Hayes he's that damn good right now.
Yeah. All valid points. 86 is a rematch we've seen. Zahid versus Kyle Dake. The thought around this one is, has Kyle Dake put on a little bit more weight? Because we've seen, Zahid is enormous. He is very big, and that causes problems for a lot of these guys, is his size, because he's just so much bigger. The length is crazy. And for that, I think it's Valencia again in 2. It's tough for me to pick Kyle Dake here just because of the size difference that gives him problems, and Zahid's ability to get to his legs and not be, I don't want to say intimidated, but not be all the way bothered by the head pinch because of the leverage that he has and can have with just the fact that he is the bigger wrestler. So I do understand, though, that Zahid Valencia has not looked his best lately. I understand that we have seen him lose at RAF. We've seen him lose. Is it one other spot? But I remember him losing to Keckeisen, right? But I think he's in a better spot now. I think he's probably, hopefully, in better shape now as well. So give me Valencia in 2. Austin, your thoughts on Dake Valencia?
I think I like Valencia. Maybe 3 matches instead of 2, like you said. But I just think the speed, the length, the size is going to be the determining factor. And for what it's worth, this is the second David Taylor versus Penn State matchup with 61, Blaze and Forrest. So just it'll be interesting to see how both of these camps kind of prepare for the other opponent. If there's anything to look into that further, maybe not, but just thought that was interesting. 2 head-to-head matchups there.
Like the Burroughs Carr coaching matchup, this is kind of the same. Nobody really knows Kyle Dake and his tactics and his feel the way that David Taylor does too. So yeah. Another one of those dynamics definitely coming into play here. Robbie, your thoughts here at 86?
I keep going back and forth on this one. It's always been difficult to pick against Kyle Dake because he has consistently won at everything, at every level, at every weight, every adjustment needs to be made. He's made it. I think I'm leaning Dake in 3. Zahid just hasn't looked the same as what we saw last year in the run that he made. It doesn't seem to be the same guy. And I don't know, maybe he's more bought in and maybe he's back on track and doing the right things and he'll be ready to go on Friday. But Kyle Dake doesn't ever turn that switch off. And Zahid does. So I trust that Kyle Dake will always be prepared. And we don't know necessarily what we're going to get with Zahid. So I'm going to go Dake in 3.
I think we have a pretty damn good idea of what we're going to get from Zahid. It's really hard to say, like, let me ask this. Do we think that Parker Keckeisen is really damn good, like world-class good?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's all right.
World champ.
Right. So we can't shit on Zahid for losing to the guy in an exhibition.
Parker, it's not just Parker. Even the international matches that he's wrestled, the tournaments that he's gone to this year, he just hasn't looked
Yeah, doesn't have that
the same
pop.
form that he was in. It doesn't.
You mean when he like
he just
walked
hasn't been
through the
him.
tournament? Yeah, it's probably not look as good as he did when he like destroyed everybody. Like, I think he'll be fine. I feel like Zahid is a lights are brightest, I'm wrestling my best sort of guy. I think that he's going to be very prepared. Do you think that David Taylor is going to let him dick around in his training for this? Like, I highly doubt it. It's kind of why he went there in the first place, right? Was to jump to that next level, and he's shown that he can get there. I would be blown away if Kyle Dake wins this. I think I still have it. Hold on, let me check.
You were adamant last year about this too, that
right.
It was all about Zahid.
And I have Valencia in 3 in this one. I didn't want to contradict my internet article, so I'm double checking that. I also had Baker Street by Jerry Rafferty attributed to this awesome match. I definitely think that Zahid is the better wrestler here. I do respect Kyle Dake enough to say that he can get one of these matches and push it to 3, but I think that in the end Zahid's got a little bit more firepower and is going to be well prepared for what Dake has.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if you see that crazy Kid Dynamite Kyle Dake show up with his back against the wall in match 2 and just start firing off attacks and, doing that sort of thing. But I think
that's the best Kyle Dake there is when he is firing off attacks, though, and not being that laid back, waiting for a head pinch style of guy.
Mm-hmm.
That was a great point you made about the head pinch with the leverage and such different body size and body type against Valencia, though.
I mean, we saw it at the Olympics with just how to combat that head pinch and just getting Dake's foot high, big. Right? Yep. Like, we've seen that, but like those two were around the same size, right? Like Dake was around the same size of his opponent at that point. Zahid Valencia causes all kinds of other issues because his arms are so long. He's such a tall wrestler. Like, he's so long that it's not easy to just crank a head pinch on a guy like that, because where you need your chest over his head and kind of across his back, like he can kind of back out a little bit and still have that leverage because his arms are so long, right? So like it does cause some other issues for sure. So I'm interested in seeing how it shakes out this year, but I mean, would I be surprised if Kyle Dake won? Hell no. Like, he's a multiple-time world champion, like all kinds of medals, all over the world. But I'm still going to go with Dake, I'm still going to go with Zahid because of that leverage and what he presents. And if he is dialed in, like we've seen him be dialed in, he's a very dangerous wrestler. That is for damn sure.
Hey, real quick, talking about real quick, or like really cool RAF matches. Like, if we could get a David Taylor versus a Jake Varner, or even better, a Cale Sanderson, that would be fun.
It'd be a lot of
money. There's not enough money in the world for that to happen.
That'd be a lot of money they'd have to shell out. That would be the one and only match that they had. There's no room to pay anybody else if you're paying Cale Sanderson.
Can you imagine how many people would pay for that pay-per-view, though?
Gross. Oh. You'd have to put it on Netflix.
Cale Sanderson came back to wrestle in the World Championships because he lost a bet to his team. So, granted, that was a long time ago, but
it was.
I still wouldn't fuck with Cale.
Yeah.
No way.
92, we already know. Hidlay gets the spot there. Kyle Snyder and Stephen Buchanan.
Austin, did you pick at 86?
Yeah, I picked Valencia in 3.
Okay.
Snyder Buchanan. You gotta go Snyder. At least I gotta go Snyder. Buchanan has looked awesome. He's looked very good, but we've also.
It's Kyle Snyder.
It's still Kyle Snyder on a wrestling mat. That's it. Claunch, I know you got some good thoughts. Go.
I mean, Snyder looks rejuvenated, man. He looks fantastic. He's ready to go. Yeah, he's
good
just
massage will do that for you.
He's loosened up. He's ready to go. I don't know. It's going to be a good match. Like, I really like Stephen Buchanan. I've made this point several times with respect to his matches lately. Like, he did beat Yazdani. You know, like that's a tough thing to do, even at this older version of Yazdani. Like, hell, Yazdani might be 29. I don't know. Like, it feels like he's been around forever.
Or 49.
Right, right.
Sure,
But, like,
much older.
But that doesn't happen, you know, by accident. So I'm just really impressed with what he's been able to do. But this version that we've seen of Kyle Snyder lately has been outrageously good. I think his opportunities to have more frequent individual matches at events like RAF and things like that has probably helped him like just stay sharp and to work on some things that he wants to get, you know, better at. There was one year where it was like, I think it was like 2022, and he looked like he was actually working on a gut wrench. And I was like, holy shit. Like, this would be like when Happy learned how to putt. Like, if he can figure out how to turn people on top, that's going to be a game changer.
I don't think he ever really commit to that one, though.
He never really did. Yeah, he's just back to, you know, but that's the thing. He's not just low singles and ankle picks anymore. He's setting up other attacks. He's just added a whole new layer to what he's comfortable with his setups and attacks. So that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Robbie.
Yeah, Buchanan has been impressive. He's looked good, but I mean this Snyder spot.
Austin.
I'm trying to remember the last time Snyder lost to someone from the US in freestyle. I feel like it's been a long time, right? Like I don't see that changing. I don't know when that would have been. Maybe like some kind of exhibition, beat the streets kind of thing, but I don't, off the top of my head, I don't know. I'm sure Cornell Kevin or someone will chime in, but
I remember Kuhn beating him in folk style.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he lost a couple of matches in folk style, but freestyle.
Yeah.
Drawing a blank. Domestically, I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, domestic. I don't know.
I was there for that match. It was awesome.
His last official freestyle loss to an American opponent was in 2018 to Kyvan Gadsden.
He lost to Kyvan in freestyle too.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, Final X in 2018.
Go Kyvan.
Yeah, that one just went 3 matches, right?
Yeah.
And Snyder ended up winning.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's been 8 years, if my math is correct, since he lost to an American. So, but he still won the overall series, you know, so that's just incredible.
Yeah. So moving to heavies, Wyatt Hendrickson, Mason Paris, these guys have like gone back and forth, flip flop, all kinds of results. This is a toss up completely. I mean, not to say that the others aren't toss ups as well, but this one more than anyone. We've seen tech falls on one side, we've seen close matches, we've seen all of it really. Man, I'm gonna go Mason Paris on this. I think he has, like David Carr, he's very good at making those adjustments. I think it goes 3, but I'm going to go with Mason Paris. And when I say making those adjustments, I'm talking making adjustments with the same wrestler, not so much like back to the corner in the same match. Like, let's adjust. It's full match to full match. I think is what I've seen from Mason Paris of just like making very good adjustments. But Hendrickson, obviously very good. If he decides to have his full horsepower all revved up, he's a dangerous man. But I also do think that there's something to be said about the experience of Mason Paris. So yeah, Austin, your thoughts on heavy?
Yeah, I like this one too. I think it's gonna go 3 matches. I just think Hendrickson is wrestling really well right now. He's peaking at the right time. Really found his momentum here with David Taylor in his corner, you know, in that camp there. So give me Hendrickson in 3, but I'm not super confident about it.
Yeah, could certainly go either way. Claunch.
I think that the further we've gotten from Mason Paris playing other sports, the better he's looked at wrestling. You know, I think that, I mean, you know, not to in all due respect, Robbie, like Trumbull is an awesome freestyle wrestler. And I wouldn't be surprised if, like, you know, something went different. I might be picking him to beat Wyatt Hendrickson too, right? Like, And I think that Mason Paris is just good enough to beat a guy that is that good, and that he's going to be able to figure it out. He's a terrible matchup for Hendrickson. I mean, he can match him physically, he can match him speed wise, he can match him in everything else. And I think that he just happens to be a better wrestler overall. So I'm going to go ahead and pick him. I am picking him in 3, but I think he's going to be able to get it done.
Robbie.
This is the other one I've gone back and forth on. I think they're both kind of at the top of their game right now. Hendrickson has been on this kind of outlandish trajectory of just continuing to get better and better, and the results following it. And Paris is kind of the reliable standby. And like Claunch said, the further away he's gotten from playing other sports, the better he's been getting back on the mat. And his results have been great too. I think I lean towards Paris in 3, but I would not be surprised to see Hendrickson get it done. I think it's going to be, I don't know, I could either see it being a super low scoring match, or it could be like trading explosive moves, because both these guys are pretty dynamic, especially for their size. But I'm going to lean Paris in 3.
Austin, your pick.
I picked Hendrickson already. 3 matches, not super confident.
This is true. He did pick. So I know we've still got the women's matches. I'm just think we highlight those. Don't have time to go through every single one, or the episode will be 3 hours long.
We're also missing 3 of them. The top 3 weights are not being contested. So
yeah, what matches here? And obviously, Amit is already on the team. Kennedy Blades is getting a postponed wrestle off, as well as Kylie Welker. But what matches of the ones that are being wrestled are you guys most excited for? Something that might be the most contested, that people might be kind of sleeping on? Robbie, I'll start with you. Any of these matches kind of stick out to you?
3 of them, I think. Well, maybe 4. 50 is going to be a good match. Katie Gomez and Morgan Turner should be pretty tight. Morgan Turner is going to be really, really good. I don't know if she gets it done this year, but she's going to be really good. The ones that stand out to me, Abby Nettie, Alexis Janiak should be a good match at 59. The one that I'm most looking forward to, I guess 2 of them, 62, Nwachu and Kilty will be really good. I love the way Macy's looked. I feel really good about her. And then 65, Kayla Miracle and Jen Page, kind of 2 savvy vets getting after it. I like Kayla there.
Yeah. Austin, any thoughts on any of the women's matches?
Yeah, pick back off what Robbie said. I some of these girls, I don't follow women's too closely, so some of these names are newer to me, and some of them are younger. So I'm excited just to see like some of these young girls come in and make a name for themselves. I always like to see Helen wrestle. She's been around forever. She's been doing awesome stuff, and she's always fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, when Blades and Walker get their rematches too, I want to see Blades. She's awesome to watch. I want to see her 5 some people at Worlds and stuff like that too. But yeah, Morgan Turner, I think she represents, all I see is Gold Academy. I think she's still high school, if not really young, right?
She's young. She's young.
Yeah, so just seeing some of these, the next generation, if they're not there yet, they will be by next year or the year after. That's stuff that excites me, especially for the women's level. Like we talked at the beginning, women's freestyle is growing so fast. It's awesome to see that come to light here eventually, here really soon. So I want to see all these matches.
Yeah. Claunch, your thoughts?
I actually really like that point, Austin. I mean, as far as some of these matches, I mean, yeah, watching Helen wrestle is always great. She's going to be fantastic. Did Katie Gomez just commit to Iowa State as well? Did I see that?
I think you're correct.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think so.
So that's exciting stuff. And yeah, like you said, Robbie, Morgan Turner is a phenom for how old she is and how well she competes.
She's going to be problems.
She is. And Macy Kilty, she just continues to get better and is such a physical wrestler. She's going to be fun to watch. But as far
she's
as
another one that feels like she's been around forever, just
yeah,
because she was so good when she was so young.
Right.
That's what was crazy about seeing the Iowa lineup. It was just like full of our best women studs that have been just crushing the world for a while. It's like this team is kind of unfair.
It's like an all-star team.
Yeah. They're super studs. But I just remember I was at a wedding and I was getting ready. We were like, getting ready post-wedding, pre-reception, and I was watching Becca Leathers compete in one of the trials, and I was like, oh, Becca Leathers world bronze, I think it was world bronze or something like that, or maybe she was in the medal match, but like she was really good at the time, and I was excited to watch her compete. And then this girl comes in and just kicks the shit out of her, and I was like, who is this? And it was Jakara Winchester. And it's just like sometimes you get to see the next person become the next person before you really realize like that they're going to be on the scene for a minute, so that is one of the cool things about watching these and seeing all these young women compete. So should be fun.
Yeah, for me, I'm kind of gonna go low hanging fruit on this, but only because Helen has become the absolute vet on any team that we have. It's obviously going to be hard to pick against her. But one of the cooler things that I had seen that I wanted to mention pertaining to Helen was there was a clip that Flo posted, I want to say a couple weeks ago, where a kid hits a slide by to a foot sweep, and the comments, it was awesome to see that the comments were all, he hit the, Helen Marula special. Like that was the cooler part, right? Like that women's wrestling has grown so much that a boys match that was clip worthy was then being attributed to a move we see one of our best female wrestlers hit, one of our best women wrestlers hit. So that was really cool for me. But like, yeah, huge Macy Kilty fan, always have been. Definitely feel like, I think she's been on the World Series so many times, but like she's just like due to get the gold, right? I think she's been third before, so if I'm remembering correctly, but just one of those, kind of the same thing that we say about Joey McKenna, where it's just like so close, like right there. That's how I feel about Macy Kilty. I feel like it's just like waiting for that next step to happen. And then obviously the 65, kilogram match is, Miracle and Jennifer Page. Like those are savvy vets that I think no matter who ends up getting that spot, it's going to be a vet presence that some of these younger girls, like a Morgan Turner, would definitely be awesome to just be around. So,
Yes.
I hope that we have a good mix of the old vets, kind of new blood, kind of thing that we saw with Helen coming up. When she was much younger, winning titles as well. She's continued to win titles as she's gotten older in the sport, and just been that perennial face for the women's team, which I think is absolutely amazing. So yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing the vets, seeing that how they compete, but then just seeing who's going to be, just kind of like on the men's side of seeing who's going to be that next like new blood, like who's that Jaden James that kind of takes things by storm, who's that PJ Duke that we get that is coming out on the women's side, as we start to see some of our older wrestlers such as Kayla Miracle or Jennifer Page or Helen Maroulis, as they continue to kind of age through these things. So I think the women's side is going to be fantastic. I'm glad that they continue to be a part of Final X as well. I know, I can, like I said, I can remember being a part of those conversations where we said we were going to add women's wrestling, and the amount of pushback that we got from it, or, the amount of bullshit that people talk in wrestling definitely was at an all-time high back then. But like, again, we're attributing moves to Helen, and that's exactly how it should be, so I thought it was really cool. And I specifically went to the comments just to see if anybody did call it out for that. And I'm glad that they did. That's everything for Final X. That's everything for RAF that we spoke about. Was there anything else that we missed? I know there's been a couple other things. I mean, Austin, you talked about Columbia's women's program. Was there anything else that we missed in talking
We
tonight?
had anything else on our list, did we?
I don't think so.
No, but I do want to give Tony DeMarco a shout out for that game he created, the 82 and like the 82-0 with the basketball thing that people are going.
Yeah.
He did something with NCAA wrestling. I'm not sure if we're allowed to talk about it, but I hopefully he releases that to the public. I think it's really cool, and
Yeah, it's awesome
to play.
It
I,
is.
I forgot. I got to get in there and play that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be something that everybody will be able to play at some point soon, but
Yeah.
it's really awesome to be able to test these things out. Like, it was cool when I saw him put that into our group text of, something that he had created. So I'm looking forward to getting in there and playing. I know, a lot of people are talking about this 82-0 game. Having a wrestling version, I think, is always really cool. So, people should be on the lookout for this. It's going to make you completely unproductive because once you get in there, you're going to certainly be hooked. And this is the second game that we've had come out this offseason, right? So
Mhm.
Yeah.
wrestling games are starting to pile up. People, we're going to be an off-task nation like the rest of the Madden players or people playing, what was it, Fruit Ninja on their phones back in the
That's a
day.
throwback.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So let's continue to innovate and make cool shit. But that is all the show. I think we've covered just about every single piece of wrestling that has happened or that is coming up. So I think the only thing we didn't cover is the fact that Jordan Williams was the ultimate pump fake of him saying he's going to announce that he's going to school somewhere and didn't. But
Is that what that pump was in the video?
yeah, that's exactly what it was. That was certainly a pump fake in that video. But no, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Shout out to our guy Bilbo Baggins. Glad to see you back in the comments. It's always fun making you mad, talking a little shit. So you're not gonna really bother us very much. You're in the comments talking about the show. So continue to watch, continue to enjoy it, or hate watch it and complain about it. Don't really care. But appreciate everybody listening and watching. Shout out to our sponsors, Adidas Wrestling and Poseidon Strength. And we will see you guys after Final X as we do our breakdown and recap and prepare for the other couple of matches that we won't see this weekend. But appreciate you guys listening and watching. We'll see you again next time. Peace.